one-wheel and Chevy.
Hey everyone, welcome to IJustWatched, and it's your boys. We're back, and we're here to talk the penultimate episode of Loki, aka episode 5, aka Into the Mystery. Is that correct?
Journey into Mystery.
It's because in my head I want to say Into the Mystic.
There's no Van Morrison here.
Not that we know of.
There could be. That's a very good point. Yeah.
All right.
Like an alternate, tall, skinny version who can't sing.
Exactly. That's why he's there. But so every time when I read the title, like it's what it's called, Journey into Mystery.
Journey into Mystery.
All right. I was like, oh, Into the Mystic. But that's besides the point. I digress. We're here to talk about it, and there is a lot to talk about. Not even really story-wise, but just in Easter eggs and cameos and just like a plethora of fun stuff in the background, starting with something like that. That being said, I gotta hit you with the usual, which is hopefully you like this video enough to smash that like button, click to subscribe to stay tuned to see more of our shenanigans, and hit the little bell to get notified when those shenanigans drop. That being said, let's talk Loki episode 5. Alrighty, so before we jump into all the fun stuff that's fucking just shoved everywhere in our face in the background of this episode, let's talk about the meat of it, the actual episode, and the purpose of it. And honestly, so if you go back and see when we discussed episode 3, how like it was kind of boring, it was a lackluster filler episode. The difference is this filler was executed properly, in the sense where it doesn't necessarily feel like a filler because not only, yes, you have a bunch of stuff in the background.
It was filled with more shit.
Yeah, to like, I goggle that, but it still pushed the story forward in an interesting way.
Google Goggle.
I couldn't think of the, they got it, you kind of got it.
Works for me with E.
Alright. But that being said, I enjoyed this episode. It was cool. Obviously, like we all assumed, being that Loki was alive, Mobius had to be alive. So getting that reunion was nice. And then seeing the different Lokis was cool. There was a lot of hype behind President Loki, which kind of was lackluster. But getting that out the way, the main point of it's actually the main main three Loki variants. It's 3, right? 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
Because Gator Loki.
Well, I was discounting Boastful Loki.
Oh yeah, fuck him. For obvious reasons. Oh yeah, spoiler warning. If you're seeing this and you haven't seen the episode, you shouldn't be watching this.
What's wrong?
I'd say come back.
And this is probably going to come out when?
Monday?
Monday?
Yeah, for sure.
So it would be almost a week.
It'd be on you.
Yeah, so that's on you.
That being said, my favorite character, let me get that out the way, of this whole episode is Gator Loki. Because Gator Loki don't take no shit from nobody. Boastful called him a liar. He ran up on him. President Loki said he was going to take over. He took his hand. Gator Loki said, look, Gator Loki don't take no shit from nobody. Alright?
And he loves wine.
Yeah, he just killed that.
Yeah, you know what? That's a very Loki thing to do. The most dangerous dude, we just don't know what's going on in his head.
Yeah.
Let's give him alcohol.
Yeah, 100%. And his little plastic tub.
Yeah.
The little kitty kitty pool.
That was perfect, yeah.
But no, and then I like when they carry him like a little, like a dog, like a baby almost.
Yeah.
Like they don't hold him like this, they're just like this.
Like, dude, if this was like the early 2000s, he'd be in somebody's satchel.
Yeah. I was just waiting for him to put him in like one of those little dad baby carriers.
Oh, yeah, like Hangover.
Yeah, exactly. Then you just see Gator Loki just chilling.
Yeah.
But no,
snapping it. People.
Yeah, just hey, like you said, Gator Loki don't take no mess from nobody.
But I do need my right.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, like I don't want to walk.
Yeah. And I'm Gator Loki.
Yeah. So what's up? But no, and it was interesting most of all to see. Oh, I forgot his name. Alagoth. No, that's not right. Is that right?
It'll be up here.
I got it wrong.
We'll just call him the Cloud Monster for right now.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember. It's something like that. I know it. Anyways, it was cool to see that character because it truly exists.
And it's a very deep cut.
Yo, yeah. I mean, it's the eater of, like, it literally sits in limbo and just devours. So it's interesting that not only they bring it up, and it's funny because when you see a cloud monster in a show or a movie, you're like, trash. But that's literally that character, and they still give it like a face.
Yeah.
Which in the comics you see it doesn't really have like a face like that.
Has eyes.
Has eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's more of like your usual stereotypical movie cloud monster. But I like the way they did it.
Except for in Lost. But good.
Yeah. Oh, see, I didn't see that one. But I like the way they did it. I enjoy seeing, of course, all the little things everywhere, and then more importantly, we cut through it. Loki's fighting Loki. Nothing new. You find out a little bit of their backstories, like Kid Loki slaughtered Thor, because I'm gonna add a little emphasis to it, and then the Boastful, it lied because Gator Loki called him a liar because he's talking about how he killed Cap and had all the Infinity Stones.
Had all the Infinity Stones and
bullshit.
Yeah, and
then my favorite though was classic Loki, in the sense like he was just so powerful and like into his magical capabilities that he tricked everyone and then like exiled himself to try to live out his days.
See, I didn't take it that way
until he was like sad.
I didn't take it that way at all. I took it where he's like, this is unwinnable, so I'm gonna do the best thing I can, the best enchantment, if you will, that I can, and I'm just gonna run and hide.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what he said too.
You know, I'm just gonna go out and be like, look, I can conjure up anything I want to.
Yeah.
So what do I need? Why do I need anything?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go and live out my days here, and then loneliness kicked in.
100%.
And that's what got him caught.
Yeah.
And that suit is just really, really loud, so they had to see it from somewhere.
I mean, that suit is. Hey, first things first, homeboy, and you know his name. He killed it as classic Loki. He was to me very interesting. The fact that he creates an entire Asgard as a distraction.
That was
powerful.
Yeah,
that was beautiful, and it was just cool to see it because like he straight just like, and then you see it rise, and I was like, oh, what is he? That's Asgard. And it was the entirety of his Asgard.
And it really looked like if you look at those comic drawings of Loki when he's conjuring, he's
usually like,
you know,
you can see like it's focused, there's pressure, there's power.
You know, Richard Grant over there was what's it called? Just I swear he sat there and looking at the page like, okay, what's my motivation?
What's my motivation?
You know, sitting there and always seeing this
because
he really went into it and sold it. And he was like, you know,
even when he went out, he stopped and he was just like. Glorious purpose.
Yeah, my glorious purpose.
And cackled until...
Is he dead, though?
I would assume so, because the Aligoth literally is the end-all type thing. You know what I mean? But, I mean, at the same time, it's the universe, any comic book universe, realm, whatever, no one's really ever 100% completely dead.
Why?
If you don't want them to be.
Why?
Because just the way it is, we can.
Because comics.
Yeah.
That's why. That's the answer for everything.
Because we can.
Because comics.
So, I mean, he could be alive. It would be interesting to see more of him, more of this place.
Maybe he ran really fast and jumped in a random helicopter.
Sylvie
Enchantress.
Yeah. Sylvie and obviously our Loki, Mobius have their touching moment. Mobius going back to burn down the TVA, and they end up working together to enchant Aligoth. I want to say that's right. That could be wrong.
It sounds right.
Yeah. And then basically they enchant him, open up the door, a portal, and you see a castle in the middle of everything and nothing. Because you see like the timeline, and what looks like the timeline behind it, like that white just beam of light, and it's just kind of floating there, and you see like the little yellow light. So it's interesting because we know the big question is who's there, and there's a bunch of clues that lead to Kang. But at the same time, I was always set in my ways that it was Kang. However, this episode, being fantastic and highly enjoyable, has kind of changed my mind a little bit. I still think Kang is the one in charge running shit. However, I don't think Kang is the villain we get here. You know what I mean? I think the villain here is not even Renslayer anymore, because she is officially as lost as we are. I would say the actual villain that we're going to have to deal with here is going to be King Loki, who was given power by Kang the Conqueror. So as Kang is conquering, he put King Loki, or made Loki king and in charge of the timeline to run shit. Cause
why does everybody trust Loki?
It's because Loki is powerful, so you want to be able to utilize him.
Thanos trusted him the first time.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
No.
Thanos killed him.
Yep.
That didn't work. We got a Loki show.
Yep.
Loki, he's the worst.
As they say, they survive. So I don't know why, but hey, they do trust him.
I like your theory, King Loki, the man before the man.
Exactly.
The boss before the final boss.
Exactly. And it would almost make sense to kind of play off the way they did it with Thanos, where first Avengers, it was Loki, and then you find out he was working for Thanos the whole time. So it would be, yes, extremely similar, but now you get, the reason it's different is because now you're getting into this crazy perversion where it's not our Loki, it's technically a different Loki, But at the same time, this Loki technically won.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's already king and he's running things for Kang, he technically won. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be interesting, especially since it's all about variants of Lokis. It would kind of make sense. I think the oddball, like the really crazy one, like out of left field, would be the one who's in charge of like the timekeepers and all that. And I always forget the character's name, but it's like the one at the end or the one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the one above all, or it's not that. It's like the one at the end, or one of all time, or something like that.
Well, I think Sylvie's going to betray our Loki and
You think so?
become Enchantress and be right beside King Loki when we finally get to that big set piece.
See, my question is,
and then Victor Von Doom comes out.
who dies? Bitch. So who dies? That's my big question.
I don't think anybody dies.
You don't think so?
I
You think our Loki survives?
I think he dies. That's about it.
That's sad. Cause I love Mobius.
Oh, I thought it was sad because that was a terrible wow.
No, I mean that wow was alright. You know, you just got it got a little more nasally.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? You gotta close these off. Wow.
I think he dies.
Sadly.
I think Renslayer dies.
Good. Fuck her.
The only thing that's keeping her around is, if she stays around, is Kang.
Yeah. That'd be good motivation. She dies, and there was somewhat of a love interest.
And then he's like, God! Oh, wrong franchise. I'm sorry. Yeah. Or no, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. It's not the same.
No.
Can't even go to the Slayer. No, it's just not.
Nothing.
Now we can get into it. I mean, that's basically the episode, which is enjoyable. I actually really liked it. But more so because of what it sets up.
The working of Miss Minutes was really good.
Yeah.
How they were like basically stalled.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm still looking.
Yeah, for the ship that doesn't exist.
I'm still looking here, sweetheart.
Any minute now.
You know,
Why is she so country?
Yeah, why is she so country?
Yeah.
All we needed was her, like, in the middle of a sentence to be like, you know, I'm just working the thing.
Yep.
You hear the thing. Like,
100%.
You know?
And at the end there,
when in the back.
When you see her, like, and Red Star has that conversation with her where she's like, I need all the information from, like, the start of the TVA and all that. Like, we clearly know that Miss Minutes is working for whoever's technically in charge.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't, like, Red Slayer asking her for that information be, like, a red flag for whoever's in charge to kind of show up and be like, Red Slayer, let me talk to you real quick type shit. Like, you know, come back under my wing. You know? Because she still believes in the mission.
Of course. She still believes in the TVA. She doesn't want to burn it down, but she still believes in what the TVA does.
Yeah, we're supposed to stand for.
Yeah, but now she doesn't enjoy the way it's done.
Exactly. And then it'll be interesting to see her conflict with Mobius because, you know, Mobius went back. So clearly I'm assuming he's going to release C-20 or C-15. 15? C-15, and then between them they're going to, you know, maybe they release other prisoners there. And
Variants.
It would be interesting to see what other variants were locked up there. You know what I mean? Let's talk about all. And we're definitely not going to get all of them because there's so many.
All right, kids, now the fun part.
And it's going to be all over the place because I want to start. I know where you want to start. But I want to start with my little friend, Froggy Thor, Throg. Because I paused. When I first saw it, I was like, bullshit. I went back. I said, oh my God. No, I paused it and I looked at it. I was like, they actually put Throg on here.
They put Throg in this one.
And he's a little green frog. And he has the wings on the helmet. The little cape. He had the yellow, like, on the boots. I was like, they committed. And it had the number of his comic on the jar. I was like, oh. Because seeing Mjolnir was cool. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, I love Mjolnir, but, like, I need new stuff.
Does Throg have his own Mjolnir that's his size, or does it shrink to his?
I would assume it shrinks because of magic. But at the same time, whenever you see Throg in the comics, he's like 2 foot tall. There he looked tiny.
Yeah.
So my thing is, when he touches Mjolnir and he becomes worthy, does he become Throg?
Well, my question being said, if there's a Mjolnir right there,
why can't he?
Yeah.
Special jar glass, bro.
Like in the first Avengers. Mm-hmm. Like it took a couple shots from that thing for it to break. Yeah. So
I don't know what that's made out of, but that jar is clearly made out of the same material.
And it's clear too.
Exactly. It's this special CIA napkin. Kid King Loki's lair. You see I know everyone's talking about like the arcade game that like was a conspiracy theory with the government and whatever. I was like, that's cool, but I don't care. I'm investing in my comic shit. And then you see the wine was from Roxcart. It was a Roxy whatever. And I was like, okay. And then more so, Yellow Jacket's helmet, but it's huge.
Statue. Is it a helmet or statue?
Well, it looks like stone, but it's like his like helmet.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But it looks definitely like stone. a big old rock. We get probably the worst, best fan service thing they've ever done with the Thanos helicopter, because we all wanted to see it, but there was no viable way for them to put it.
How are we gonna put Thanos' yellow helicopter?
Yes. And the thing is, they even include the little like barrel things that he has on there, like
it says Thanos
on the side, so he doesn't confuse it with other helicopters,
other yellow helicopters
that happen to be in the vicinity of where he parked.
Because apparently he goes to a lot of places where you park your helicopter like you do at a mall. Or
exactly.
Something.
And my thing is, that also means at one point in time, NYC had our boy in cuffs.
In cuffs.
All right. That means they chain gained him for a little bit, bro.
That means this guy right here, this Thanos, is terrified of Squirrel Girl.
100%. Because she ran his shit. All right.
I mean, the Thanos copter is the greatest, greatest, worst
100%.
freaking fan service. I loved every bit of it. I think I'm watching this episode was 45 minutes long.
It was like almost 50.
And it took me 2 hours because I kept just rewinding and like that, talking
it's
to
there.
nobody. Like
it's there.
That's a real thing.
Exactly.
It's canon.
Exactly. No matter what, at one point in time, he rode that. That big purple motherfucker rode that.
Flew in his one-seater.
Yeah, and I can just big old joystick and I can just hear him. Yeah, next time Avengers, and just takes off.
If he had a mustache, he'd be twirling
it up.
I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. I mean, I can go on and on every villain trope because that thing right there is incredible.
Oh yeah.
And I just wanted to see squirrels. I thought there would be some squirrels or something on. I would
have died if you saw one squirrel on there.
If you saw Anna Kendrick come around and I know that's not her.
Yeah, but still,
that'd be my Squirrel Girl.
Oh really?
No, yeah.
Anna you wouldn't cast the girl who voices her?
No,
from AT&T.
No, well, it'd either be the Lily.
I'm sorry, I didn't know her name. You know her personally? Oops, I apologize.
Lily from AT&T, or Anna Kendrick. Those are my two Squirrel Girls.
That makes sense. I'd be okay with either one. And it's just. I mean, it's horrible.
It's stupid.
It's completely stupid. I love it. I love it with everything in my being. Okay, because it is something we never. It's like when we saw Farmer Thanos and you saw his armor as a scarecrow.
Yes.
I never thought I was going to see that. But when I saw that, I was like, cool, because that you can kind of fit into the story. Yeah. I never expected to see this stupid piece of shit helicopter.
Okay, so I need two things from you. I need the picture of him in cuffs.
Bet. Done.
And I need the picture of him flying the thing.
Done.
For a visual reference.
Yeah, of course. But no, so moving on to others, because it was just one of those. Like, when I saw Thor, I was like, wow. And then, like, just seeing that.
You're like, okay, they're not doing anything better than Thor. No way. And then you get that big yellow monstrosity.
I had to watch this multiple times to really pay attention to see that was the Thanos copter.
I saw it at 2 a.m. when it dropped.
Yeah.
So the next day I went to work and I texted, was like, did you see it? Just seeing what he would say. He's like, the Thanos copter? I was like, yes,
yeah, of course. Hey, immediately went to, nothing else mattered in that moment. All right? And on top of that, we get the statue of the Living Tribunal.
One of the faces of the Living Tribunal, yes.
Is there. And then the name...
Which should be a bigger deal than we're making it.
On the real, if we're going to be honest, that is definitely more vital to storytelling.
But it's not the
than
Thanos copter, man.
This is just like... It's just one of those moments when, like, you go back in comic history and you look at it and you're like, that is horrible. I can't believe that at one point that's exactly... If you went to the Batcave and saw a Batsuit with purple gloves, yeah, it's one of those moments.
It's one of those moments, like if we had, like say this Pattinson movie,
yeah,
and he goes to his Batcave and there's a huge penny.
Exactly. And a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And just a giant Joker card. Like, just stuff like that. Like, it's horrible, it's stupid. Do we need it? Do we need it? No. Does it serve a purpose? No. Do we want to see it? Yes.
Yes.
100%. All right? So that's one of those. Of course, because the Living Tribunal not only has been... Because we got his staff in Doctor Strange. Feige confirmed that he was going to have Thanos and him fight
in Endgame.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. See, Infinity War. Because Doctor Strange was going to, like, mentally shoot him there.
Yeah.
So we know he exists. Again, it's confirmed even more so. And then on top of that, you get the Avengers Tower, who is bought by a company, QNG, which is owned by none other than Kang. And it's on there. And we know it got bought already. It doesn't mean it was bought by him specifically, but the odds are definitely favored in that now, especially because we know he's coming. He's confirmed, casted, and is in Quantumania.
The only thing about that is that building, because in Spider-Man it had an atrium.
Yeah.
You remember he swung right through it?
Yep.
I don't know if this had an atrium.
I don't think so.
So it might be later.
It could be way in the future.
It would be bought again.
Yeah, exactly. And it just originally was the Stark/Avengers Tower. So right now, who could have bought it? It could be a plethora of people. That being said, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that happened in here. Of course, like we said, the payoff to President Loki, which was neat, but it was definitely, I think, overhyped because it was a small moment.
And we got it in every trailer. We got it in everything else. Yeah.
And it was just for like 30 seconds. It was whatever. My favorite thing was just seeing like classic Loki, seeing Throg, seeing Gator Loki, who I love. And then the sword that Kid Loki gives to our Loki.
The ancestral sword.
Yeah, like that's cool. And just seeing them just dive into like magic use. You know what I mean? Even having that realization that him and Sylvia, like looking at classic Loki, like, oh, we are way more powerful than we let ourselves believe.
Yeah, they're like, and we can do that?
Yeah, like if he can do it, it means we can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have to be better.
And then the proverbial smoke clears.
Yes.
And we're about to go find out.
Exactly. And who's at the end of that tunnel, per se. But all in all, it's a very interesting episode. Like I said, I think this is like a proper filler episode where it answers small little questions, but it still pushes you towards that bigger, grander question. And I'm interested to see how it ends. I want to hear your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, opinions down below. What do you think? Do you agree, disagree with anything we said? There's definitely some stuff we missed that was in this episode. What was your favorite? Was it one of the ones we mentioned? Was it something we missed? Let us know. We want to hear from you. David, anything else you want to let these beautiful people know?
No, all right.
Oh, fantastic. But stick with us. We're almost done. Literally one episode left. How long do you think that episode's going to be? Think it's going to be like 45, maybe 50, or maybe over 50?
I'm going 60 minutes, Bob.
But until next time, stay safe, be well. Adios.